Hello everyone, welcome to my channel 7th Direction Wellness. My name is Seeks Knowledge Woman and I'm a Lakota holistic healer. Today's reading is about your past, your present, and future, and we have 3 different crystals to choose from, 3 different piles. Our first crystal is a piece of selenite. Selenite grows in these tower-like formations and it's used for cleansing and detoxification. It's really helpful in spaces that are feeling very dense and need cleansing of the energy. Our second crystal is a piece of Shungite. Shungite has been growing in popularity lately because of its ability to help block EMF waves. This particular piece of Shungite is from Russia, and I felt particularly drawn to it as I have ancestors on my mom's side from Russia. Our third crystal is Amethyst. And amethyst, although it is very popular and common, it holds great potential and it should be treated as super valuable. It's really helpful with activating the third eye and the crown chakras. It helps you channel in ideas from spirit. So go ahead and pause the video, meditate on those crystals and card piles, and we'll be right back with your reading. Group number 1, if you chose the selenite, then this reading is for you to figure out the story of your past, present, and future. So first we have 3 of Swords. This is like the karmic card of heartbreak. So we're starting with your past. It's likely group number 1 that you have been through a great deal of heartbreak. Whether it is in terms of like a relationship with a parent or a relationship with a partner, there's been some sort of heartbreak in your past, group number 1. What else do we need to know, Spirit? 5 of Pentacles upside down. 5 of Pentacles, group number 1. You have been through some sort of incident that has made you very humble, and you have learned some lessons in the past about humility. You have been in places where it's been cold, where you have been less fortunate, and you have learned from being in those places about where you need to be headed. In the past, there was some sort of authority figure in your life, someone who kind of overshadowed all your decisions, and while some of it may have been good advice that protected you from potential harms, this felt like a very intense figure in your life. Maybe you had an authoritarian parent, someone who is very dominating in that relationship with you. Maybe you had someone who really set the foundation for you to grow from. There was an authority figure in your life and some sort of celebration and accomplishment. Group number 1, it's like you've already had quite a lot of success in your life and upbringing. Very likely you have graduated high school, gotten a GED at least, and now you are making way. We also have first house, group number 1. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you are an Aries sign or have a spring birthday, or else this is just confirmation that you have started your journey with an authoritative figure and you've had quite some celebration and accomplishment after experiencing quite the heartbreak. Group number 1, in your present self, you have found some degree of balance in looking into your shadow self. This means inner healing work. This means exploring the dark places that most people don't want to look within themselves. This is owning up to the mistakes that you've made. This is looking and analyzing them. This is some level of psychological understanding. Perhaps you've done some Perhaps you've taken some psychology classes that have helped guide you through this. Perhaps you've worked with a mentor of some sort. If you are in the spiritual community, then you likely have had a mentor who may be like a yoga instructor, who may be an art therapist. You likely have worked very closely with someone and learned quite a bit about your shadow self. And here we also have the 8 and the 1. So this idea of new beginnings from reciprocity. So you are learning how to be more reciprocal and understanding and accepting of the big picture, the dark and the light. Unnecessary worries, though. I'm so sorry, group number one. Are you feeling quite worried? Group number one, there's a lot that you can do about these worries. You can do simple things such as getting a worry stone, something very physical that keeps you grounded in this present moment, because sometimes when we are worried, it's that we're thinking too much about the past or too much about the future. And it's okay to look at it every once in a while, right? Such as this reading's topic. But if you're constantly thinking about what could have been if that happened, or what is going to happen tomorrow, then you're not in the here and the now. And there is power being here and now and present. If we are not present, then things could really take control of us. You know, we could be absent to other people who are here and now who could take advantage of us, or miss an opportunity that we weren't fully aware of because we weren't here and now present. The solution, group number one, is to think about how far you've come, to take a look at where you have been. From the looks of it, you have experienced a heartbreak, and you should take note of that could have instilled some sort of pattern or behavior into the way you are experiencing your life right now, the way that you are looking at your life right now. You know, it could have allowed you to think more negatively or to make assumptions, and you need to take a look into those things. So that could be causing some worry. But Spirit is confirming that if you do some more shadow work in this present moment, that it's going to help you understand the dualities, the good and the bad. There is not good without bad, and there is not bad without good. So being accepting of that is going to help you out. Also some breath work and some grounding work coming into this present moment. So I'm going to take just 1 second here to bring us into the present moment, hopefully help heal your heart a little bit from those worries. Let's take a moment to just take the hand over the belly and maybe soften the gaze or close the eyes, and feel our 3 deep breaths here. Inhale through the nose. The belly is expanding. Exhale out the mouth. Belly moves to the spine. Let's take a few more deep breaths. I'm just asking Spirit, please watch over group number one as they find groundedness in this present moment. Please allow them to do shadow work and to come into full acceptance and understanding for where they are currently. Last deep breath. Awesome job. I hope you didn't mind that quick little meditation and grounding that we just did. I'm going to continue on with your reading. We have the 5 of Pentacles upside down. It's likely that you have become humble and have developed the characteristic of humility because of some of the low places that you have been in life. It has allowed you to maybe have more compassion for the poor, have more compassion maybe for the homeless or the animals in humane society. You have experienced some level of trauma, and this has allowed you to become more humble in the way that you view life. And I'm getting that because with the 5 of Pentacles card being upside down, these are 2 women walking outside feeling the cold when there is a supposed warm and welcoming church by them. And depending on how you feel about the church, because it has its highs and its lows, right? The Bible has been transformed to be somewhat of the truth still, but also somewhat changed by the many authors who have had a hand in it along the way. So the church has become this sort of like place of contradiction, because I totally do align with Jesus and the story of Jesus. I myself am a life path 33, so I super resonate with the idea of 33 being a Jesus life path number because of the age of his passage. And I do align with that. But on the flip side, I also see how churches have been used to hurt people, to dominate people, and civilize people. So for example, my family has gone through a boarding school, and during this boarding school experience, it was hidden under the label of how great it is to teach these Native children about the Catholic Church and values. But at the same time, there were priests who were assaulting these children, and it's not uncommon to hear these stories of those survivors of boarding schools. So on that rant, I just unveiled that there is both light and darkness within a church. It's likely that you have experienced that the church has highs and lows. It's likely that you've experienced that you're perhaps walking outside still and dealing with the cold because you know what it kept inside, and you may or may not be aligning with those values. You may be redirecting your life, and that redirection of your life means that sometimes you put yourself in situations that are going to be the long way around, right? It's like the scenic route, but it's a very educational and refreshing scenic route after all. So that's humble, that's humility in a nutshell, is that you have experienced something that has humbled you. I gave a very specific and in-depth example that may or may not resonate with you, but for sure, it's likely that you're resonating with the humility and the humbleness that you have developed from the heartbreak previously in your life. And we have the 11th house here, so it's likely you have been growing your social network. It's likely you have created more of an online presence or an innovative technology presence, which reminds me that as I was shuffling the cards for these 3 piles, randomly the Aquarius card popped out of the pile, and Aquarius resonates with the 11th house. So that Aquarius energy is very strong for all the piles, but especially for you, pile number 1. I wouldn't be surprised if you're either an Aries fire sign or an air sign such as Aquarius, because these cards have come up in a couple different placements for your pile. And so the 11th house, the Aquarius energy is extra strong for you, and you could be going through quite an expansion right now in terms of your online development, your online presence, and some sort of innovative practice. Perhaps you are combining some element of the old with the new. You might be digging into Ayurveda, for example, and pulling it into present day and working with millennials in an ancient concept to help them heal in a contemporary environment that we are currently living in. So that's just one example. There's so many ways that this could manifest in your life. As for your future, group number 1, we have the Universe card upside down. This has a number 2 and a 1 energy. So because something is upside down doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. This is referring to the future. This is where you are currently and how the future looks from here. So you have the willpower to change anything within your life, and Spirit is just wanting me to give you some ideas about where you are heading as the way it looks right now. So this Universe card being upside down, and I just dropped it on its face, so confirmation, it is upside down. The universe needs to be found, the you in verse. And I'm taking that quote from a podcast that Sahara Rose put out there with a special guest. When they were talking, they talked about the you in verse. You have a universe within you, and you need to see all that potential that lies within. You are a greater piece of the universe, And that concept actually comes from indigenous spiritualities as well. In Lakota, we say Mitakuye Oyasi. We are all related and interconnected. So this is a concept that Spirit really wants you to know so that we can change the future and you can see yourself as a you in verse. You can see that you are related to all, and that should empower you to reach out to others and to build community even more than you are right now. And I can see that you are already working on that with the 11th house. So this is confirmation now that Spirit wants you to pull in more spiritual practices and presence with your online community that you are already establishing. Create that you in verse and do it from a place of creativity, intentional creativity. Then we have the own your own power. Spirit is saying, yes, you are on your way to success. Spirit really wants you to own your power and to let yourself shine. So this says, replace codependent people pleasing with assertiveness and empowerment. So because of your past, you have a tendency to want to fall into old patterns, right? Because you've had some kind of experience that really broke you. But Spirit is saying it's time to redirect, reclaim who you are, your story, change the narrative, and keep shining your light. The darkness that you have experienced is actually going to be a reason that other people are able to relate to you. And then you're going to be able to shine your light in a very authentic and truthful way. Then we have the Hierophant upside down. So I love this upside down because in its right side up position, we're talking about authoritative figures. We're talking about bigger structures that seem like they have control. I'm talking about like government. I'm talking about like businesses, managers. I'm talking about some sort of authoritative figure in your life that you are no longer letting hold that power and authority over you. You are claiming who you are yourself, and you are deciding that you are an adult and that you are ready to transform your life and own who you really are and what your values are, despite what the overarching society's values are. So I'm talking about like if you do not like the vaccines, for example, and you are deciding, nope, I'm going to choose for myself and my family what we align with, and that may not be in alignment with us, then so be it. If you are deciding that you are no longer going to eat meat because it's just no longer aligning with your values, you don't want to participate in the suffering of animals, or you don't even want to consume flesh, then so be it. The greater society really puts a lot of money into the meat industry and the farm ranching industry, and maybe you don't want to be a part of that overarching theme anymore. Maybe you don't want to allow people to corrupt animals for the benefit of their pockets. So maybe that's another example. I'm just giving a couple examples. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But that is the Hierophant in a nutshell in its upside down position for you. And then we have Mercury. Keep on communicating. You are doing something wonderful, and that communication is just going to keep on expanding. Your network is just going to keep on growing, and so is your net value. Your business that you're doing, whatever it may be, or whatever you're investing your time, money, energy into, is just going to keep on growing as long as you keep on communicating and understanding the ways that the universe works, seeing yourself as a part of the universe and seeing the way that nature actually can impact the way things are going. Maybe this is a sign to that you will becoming more in tune with astrology in the future and the cycles of Mercury retrogrades and shifting back into its forward-facing position. This could be you coming more in touch with your air side of yourself, becoming more inspired, quick moving, and communicative. That's all I had for you, group number 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. There will be plenty more readings where this came from, and we'll see you again soon. Bye. Hello, group number 2. If you chose the piece of Shungite, then this reading is for you to determine how your past, present, and future is playing out. When we look at your past, we're seeing the 7 of Wands upside down, and we're seeing the movement, choices, and decisions. So I'm getting an idea that you were presented with many different opportunities, and these opportunities all just seemed really wonderful, and you were kind of at a level of indecisiveness in your past. So this 7 of Wands is you were actually really blessed with so much opportunity. I'm talking about like all kinds of things were coming into play. Maybe you were getting calls to be involved with modeling as a child. Maybe you were getting attention in your sports or athletics that you were involved in. There was some level of like opportunity and just natural talent that was radiating through in your childhood and in your upbringing. So you were presented with all these different opportunities, and it became actually really overwhelming, kind of confusing, but also when you look back, it was really fortunate and you're feeling very grateful for having those experiences. So 7 of Wands, movement, choices, decisions in your past. And we also have control issues in the past. So that's probably where this is coming into play. You were super talented and you were given all these avenues to go down, but there was some level of control issues, most likely coming from a parental figure or an extended relative that was making you feel like the pathway that you were choosing was not enough. Even though it was your natural talent and you were so involved, you were doing excellent in that talent, but someone was giving their say over what you were doing because you were a minor, and they felt like they needed to overrule your life. But this feels like it kind of held you back from this opportunity that you felt like you were really drawn into. What do we have here for the astrology card? There we have the 5th house. So you were naturally doing something that was pleasurable and creative in your life, but there was some kind of like control from a third party. We have you, the person, we have the activity such as art or a sport, and then we have number 3, the third party, the person who thought that they had control over your relationship to the hobby, but they did not after all. So this is you kind of looking back in retrospect and realizing that someone or something actually held you back from your fullest potential. And it's time to actually forgive this and forgive this person or forgive this structure that held you back and kind of changed the path course of your life, the potential that you had as a child. For our present, group number 2, we have the 9 of Pentacles upside down. We have the partnerships and alliances. Right away, I'm seeing that 9 of Pentacles is upside down in this present moment. In this present moment, you want to be really wealthy and abundant. You want to see the fruit of your labors. Group number 2, you're not alone. So many people are deserving to see that there is actual abundance within and around them already. So it's very likely, group number 2, that you can start a gratitude journal, that you can start looking at what you already have and counting those blessings so that more blessings can manifest. That alone is the law of attraction. What you are in a vibrational resonance with will appear in your life. So if you are more grateful for what you currently have, you will attract more. And I can see that with the 9 of Pentacles upside down, that you are desiring this, but you're coming from a place of lack and not a place of currently having. So it's important to shift that perspective in the here and now so that we can become very abundant, because I'm sure there's so many things already happening and occurring in your life to be thankful for. We have the partnerships and alliances. So you're very likely coming into new networking opportunities. Perhaps you're developing multiple avenues, because the Nine of Pentacles was a gardener who looked like they planted multiple crops, so they've invested into multiple pools of potential abundance. So it's Spirit is confirming that your current networking and your current business deals that you're doing in different avenues is the right way to go. You are investing in multiple pools of abundance, and that's going to really help you in the long term. Multifaceted. Group number 2, you are those people who are just multi-talented and amazing at whatever they put their mind to. So Spirit is saying, don't settle for less. This is a confirmation that you being involved in the different assets, the different hobbies, the different careers, all simultaneously is okay. That it is okay to change and evolve your career as you go. You don't need to choose just one and just stick it out with that. You can keep being your multidimensional self that you are. You can be involved with, say, your online business. You can be selling product online. Maybe you have an e-commerce store, and maybe you're a star athlete who is going to college and getting crazy scholarships, all while doing an e-commerce store. This is a confirmation that Spirit says what you are doing in your multiple investments is a really good idea, and that you should stay multifaceted and hold yourself to that great standard that you are already doing. The second house is about dualities, so I wouldn't be surprised if in this present moment you are really thinking about relationships, and you are really thinking about how you can find balance and completion in your life. In psychology classes, we talk about isolation versus intimacy. So it's very likely that you are at this stage in life in which you are considering isolation versus intimacy. Do you want to be alone, and are you willing to just invest in yourself and stay in that state where you're very content with yourself and you have all these different places you want to travel, things you want to do, and you're just not invested in that right now? You're finding completion perhaps in yourself. Or are you in a state where you are seeking a partner in which you are willing and hoping to settle in, find a nice home, and to keep on growing as a couple as well as individually? So this is the idea. Spirit is saying you are in this state of life right now in which you are deciding intimacy versus isolation, and you are likely involving yourself with a partner and evolving in that relationship. Let's talk about your future. Group number 2, we have Knight of Wands upside down, and we have patience and planning. I want to tell you right now that with group number 1 and group number 3, I'm going to say the same thing, is that the future is not yet determined. You have your own willpower, free will, to determine your fate and destiny. So despite what you're hearing right now about your future, you have the ability within you to make changes. And I'm saying that because with a card being upside down, then there means there at this point could be some sort of blockage that may be coming up that you can navigate and steer away from because you're becoming aware of it right now. So with this being upside down, Knight of Wands, this archetype is someone who is very magical and realizes the potential within their ability to manifest. When I say magic, I'm not talking about like woo-woo stuff, although you watching this, it's likely you don't think magic is woo-woo anyways, but I'm talking about manifestation, and I'm talking about things moving in a very nice flow state when you're really tapped in. Spirit is saying that there's some kind of barrier right now to your flow state, that there's some kind of like blockage. You may have like writer's block or some kind of creative block happening right now. And Spirit is saying that you have the potential to navigate around this now that you know. We're going to get further clarifiers on what you can do to overcome that blockage, and so you can just tap into the flow state. Patience and planning. This is Spirit letting you know that nothing really comes easily, that it does take time to see results. So Spirit is saying patience in planning. With patience and in planning, you will see more results. You will come into the flow state. Instead of seeing yourself and your goal and seeing all the space between you and your goal, you're going to see the journey to the goal as success, as where you want to be. Because in that state of being involved in the journey, you will be tapped into the flow state, and you will manifest quicker. So patience and planning. You've got to visualize the goal and see it in your mind's eye. You've got to voice yourself and add in your heart, start to add in your willpower and your passion, and you will manifest this thing, this goal. So it's going to take some patience and planning. It's going to take breaking down the process of manifestation, but that is really going to help you in creating and tapping into the flow. We're getting the card of deep emotional healing, and this could indicate that the blockage may be that you have not let something go. It's time, Spirit is saying, for you to let go of what is no longer serving you, and to maybe rewrite your story. So you can go ahead and take that idea, the thing that was troubling you, you can write it down on a piece of paper, and then you can release it. You can literally release it by burning it in a fire, or by crumpling it up and letting it be in some water. There are ways that you can physically release it from your energies. There's ideas of cord cutting, waving your arm in front of your body and no longer allowing that invisible string that connects you to that belief, no longer allowing it, cutting that cord. There's a lot of different ways that you can release, and Spirit is wanting you to find one of these methods that works for you to release what is no longer serving you, so that you can rewrite your story and come into a place where that troublesome idea is actually going to be your benefit. It's actually going to be your asset of what adds a value to you in your life. And we have the waxing gibbous moon. So this is confirmation that the energy is building in your life, that you haven't yet hit the climax or the peak of your life. Your story is still being written, and it's good to accept and appreciate where you are right now. It's good to know that you are on this flow upward, and that it's just going to keep on growing. We haven't gotten to the full moon stage yet. You haven't fully come into yourself, but Spirit is wanting you to enjoy this process, to just enjoy the journey, see it as a blessing, and with that gratitude, you're going to come into your flow state. This is all I had for you, group number 2. If you enjoyed this reading, please like, comment, and subscribe. I have more readings for you coming up very soon, so I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, group number 3. If you chose the piece of amethyst, then this reading is for you to determine how your past, present, and future are impacting you. So let's get started talking about your past. We have the Temptation card upside down, the 1 and the 5. It's very likely that you were very indulgent in some sort of like fun, pleasurable, creative activity or atmosphere. So temptation, I'm getting that with both the topic of the card. I'm getting that both with the title of the card and the numerology symbolisms here. So there was some sort of like blockage that happened from being in this atmosphere. You could have maybe worked as like a bartender. You maybe could have put yourself in like very dark energy environment. There was indulgent energies perhaps maybe within you or with around you in this atmosphere, and there was some sort of like blockage that may have developed there as far as like your mindset goes. It may have put you in a mindset that told you that it was okay to be in such dark energies, and it might have allowed you to find repetition and comfort in something that was actually quite dark. What else do we have, Spirit, about your past? We have the gold card, the divine intervention card. So it's very likely because of this dark night of the soul moment that you were able to connect even more so to yourself and to spirit. So you were able to allow yourself to channel in spirit and to see and understand why perhaps these people in this environment were behaving as they were. But perhaps in looking at yourself and understanding how the patterns of your life may have allowed you to put yourself in this environment. Nonetheless, you have connected yourself to spirit, and that is to be celebrated. That is to be enjoyed and appreciated. We have the Chariot card. This is very fast moving, and as you can see, she's a master manifester here. She's a magician, and she's on this motorcycle. She's weighing out the good and the bad. She sees it for what it fully and truly is. And this is something that you have already gained in your past. So it's very likely that you are an old soul and that you were able to move so quickly and rapidly through this past experiences because you're an old soul and because you are interested in travel. You can get along with many different crowds of people. Perhaps you didn't fit into exactly maybe like one group, social group. Maybe when you were in high school, you were perhaps that kind of like nomad that could fit into any crowd that they wanted to associate with. So this is you in your past. You perhaps didn't exactly fit into one category, and that has allowed you to be sort of like a nomad and to really enjoy yourself and to really find everything you need within yourself because you were able to take a piece of each of those puzzles and create your own puzzle. You didn't feel like you needed to conform to be in any of those groups, and that is something amazing that you have already established with your previous experiences. And we have the Mars, just confirming that action energy. You have been really action orientated in your past. You have been really maybe in your masculine energy. You have had a very fast moving energy, very action orientated, and that energy has allowed you to already move leaps and bounds in your life already. In your present, group number 3, we have the prosperity begins. We have a visual representation of a seed and this tree that has grown from this planting of the seed. So there is growth happening in your present moment. You have already grown so much, and you are able to see how that deeply rootedness, that all that grounding that you did in your past is really playing off and guiding you forward and allowing for the abundance in which you have already grown. This tree is bearing fruit, so it's very likely that you have created so many different physical representations of abundance in your life. Perhaps you have created perhaps you already own your own home. Perhaps you already have a family, maybe a partner and some children, but there is something to show for the fruits of your labor as far as you are already. Group number 3. Group number 3, we also have the Forgiveness Heals card. So this is a reminder from Spirit to release your old attachments by offering forgiveness. And it is a concept I spoke about already in one of the previous 2 piles. So if that resonates with you, go ahead and check out those 2 videos as well. I talk about forgiveness more in depth, but here it is confirmation that Spirit is saying to release old patterns so that you can become your fullest potential, and that those old patterns are actually toxic and holding you back. So go ahead and take a look at those other 2 piles if you want to think more about forgiveness. We have the Sun upside down, and with these upside down cards, I want to remind you that you have your own free will, that this is a generalized reading, and these concepts are here to help you and to not hinder you. So despite being a card being upside down, maybe in your present or in your future, you have your own free will and you can change the course of your destiny. But as of right now, the snapshot that Spirit is seeing of your present and your future is indicating that the Sun is upside down. So it's kind of like the Sun is outside and you're stuck inside. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting that you're either like a workaholic and you just go nonstop, or you're someone maybe who has the unfortunate position of just being in a home that doesn't have windows that even face towards the sun. I totally resonate with that because I put myself into a home that I later realized actually only had north-facing windows. And if you're living in the northern hemisphere, on the northern part of the globe, then you will know living with your windows facing north means you don't get the sunlight because the sun is coming from the south. I resonate with that. Hopefully that resonates with you too, that you're not getting enough sunlight, and that's what Spirit really wants for you in this present moment, because the sun actually holds light codes. From a spiritual standpoint, there's an explanation that it holds light codes. You can actually rewrite your DNA by absorbing some of the sun's energies and activating the pineal gland of the brain. Or if you want a more scientific standpoint, the sun actually gives you vitamin D. It actually allows for the synthesization or the process of creating vitamin D. So it actually has multiple benefits from both a spiritual and scientific standpoint. The Spirit is saying go on and get outside, maybe put it in your schedule if you have to go get some walks in outside, or to take your vitamin D supplement so that you can get maximum utilization of that vitamin D by adding in exposure to the sun. And in the present moment, we have Gemini coming in. So you are very likely working on your communication skills and networking skills. This air moving energy is making things seem like they're speeding up. And that's exactly where you need to be right now. This networking energy is very typical because I want to let you know that when I was getting the first, second, and third piles for this reading, I got the confirmation from Spirit that we are in the age of Aquarius. The Aquarius card is the only card that popped out while I was getting ready to do this reading. So we are all in the age of Aquarius, and this Gemini energy is resonant amongst many right now. We're all moving towards something very innovative. We're utilizing our technology and able to reach the masses. And you are fully coming into this age of Aquarius with this Gemini energy. Even though Gemini and Aquarius may be different signs, they're both air energies, and air energy is the vibe right now. So kudos to you for being right in resonance with the universal's energies right now. Let's look at your future now, group number 3. I would never wish anything bad amongst anyone. I'm just here to be the messenger. So unfortunately, we have the emotional withdrawal card coming up. But this is not to trouble you. The irony in that statement. This emotional withdrawal is a part of nature. It's a part of the human experience, right? We all have our good and our bad days. We might be going through a day which we're feeling kind of maybe disappointed at ourselves or in the way of the world. This can come when we experience more of our truths. When we see more truth in the world, we start to realize how actually ugly it is and how devastating and heartbreaking this life can actually be. So that just comes with the process of knowing the truth of life and coming into a state of acceptance. But if we don't come into a state of acceptance, then this can really trouble us and drive us down into a deep depressive hole. So Spirit is wanting to let you know that you have the opportunity to change this course in your life. It's okay to have good and bad days, and it's okay to just go with the flow. This person is sitting by water, which I feel is a very good tool for healing, because this water is going to wash away anything that is troubling you. And crying is actually a good thing. If you feel like you need to cry, please release those energies. There's some kind of energy that needs to be released. And in a later video, I'm actually going to be talking about how crying actually may correlate to parasites. I know this idea sounds really, really foreign and kind of strange, but there is actually detoxification. When detoxification of the body happens through herbs, exercise, sun exposure, then we are actually killing off parasites, the negative organisms in our body. In a spiritual sense, we call it negative energies. In a scientific sense, it may be called parasites. So we are killing off these negative energies, and when we kill off these negative energies, we actually release them in our tears and through other bodily processes. So I just wanted to put that out there, that when you are crying, you are actually releasing negative energies, negative organisms, if you're willing to accept that fact, because it is kind of strange when we're talking about parasites. If you want to know more about that, I am going to have a video out in the future about how you can do a parasite cleanse and heal your body. So go ahead and subscribe if you are interested in that. I will have that video out here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Moving on, group number 3, you've got to know this. You are the psychic of the groups here. You are the psychic of the groups, and there's some very unconventional thinking in your life. There's some very unconventional thinking in the way that you work and in the way that you're living your life. You are a starseed, a definite starseed, because Moldavite is actually a crystal that was formed by the impact of an asteroid hitting the Earth. When the asteroid hit the Earth, it created such a hot impact and such a pressure that it formed Moldavite. It formed this crystal. So you are from out of this world. I mean, we all are. We are all stardust. But I wouldn't be surprised if you have lived former lifetimes as aliens, as different beings from different planets in different universes. That idea means that you have a good connection to astrology, tarot, other occult practices, because you are a starseed and you have come from other planets and other universes. And I've thought about this and how wild it is, but perhaps you have a strong understanding of astrology because you lived around a different star in a different solar system, and you had to understand the development of the archetypes within that universe. That is just one example of something that have occurred in your former lifetime, to where you are now able to understand the archetypes of the planets in this current solar system. So you have such an expansive and inclusive way of thinking that allows you to be very unconventional. And in your future, you could see this manifest by maybe being an inventor. You could invent some kind of technology that doesn't currently exist, or maybe they're brainstorming right now and you just have what's in you to create that. I'm getting that energy because Einstein was actually a life path 33. So his energy would resonate with 3 because of the double 3s. And you're choosing the third pile. So this may resonate with you. Einstein was actually we know him as the inventor of the light bulb and many other inventions, and he holds that energy of the 3. So maybe this is you as well. Maybe you're going to be a great inventor someday. Or it could be manifesting itself. This inventiveness can be manifesting itself in many other avenues, right? You could be writing a book on a topic in a field that is not currently addressed. Or perhaps you're interdisciplinary and you're tying in concepts of different disciplines in a way that is unheard of in the framework of the current educational system of this country or of the nations of this world. You're going to break down barriers, group number 3, and we want you to know that it is okay to be different from others. Own that. That is what makes you unique and what is going to evolve you as a person and then evolve others who you are having an impact on. Then we have the 7 of Swords, group number 3. This 7 of Swords energy is you taking a look back on your life and seeing those intense energies and no longer letting those intense energies trouble you or hold you back. This is you in the future putting it all behind you, putting those intense energies, letting them go, and just becoming a master of letting things go. Taking what resonates with you and leaving what no longer resonates. It also is an air card because swords are a representative of air, and this is you just tuning in and becoming in a flow with the way that the universe is working in this age of Aquarius. And then how exciting for you, group number 3, we have the Eros card coming in. Eros being an asteroid here that is represented as a symbol of love. This is you in your fullest state that you are growing into right now and that you are becoming. You are becoming a master of love, and you are using love to help transform your life and also developing maybe a twin flame relationship with a partner. And also spreading this idea of love and this practice of love to others so that they can vibrate at a higher vibrational frequency that is really going to help transform this planet in the direction that the planet is headed. You have a really big role in your life to spread these important messages of love, and Spirit is affirming that right now in this reading. I hope that you enjoyed this reading, group number 3. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will have plenty more videos where this came from. Stay tuned, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.